Hey,
What's going on?
you got a Commodore 64? How long does that thing take to boot up? Hey, did you get on AOL? Oh, your video just went off.
I must have touched something.
Don't touch anything. All right. I have like a solid hour, and
Okay.
then I have to like help with the dorm for like a half an hour, but I can kind of be in and out, and then I could be back. So if we don't get done in an hour, you might need to take like a little break. I don't know if that works for you in your schedule or.
We'll see what our hour looks like, right? Maybe we'll be jam packed with laughs. Why are you still laughing?
It was just awesome how you said jam-packed with laughs.
I think it's a possibility.
What chance?
Maybe that was one right there.
Sorry, you gave me a belly laugh. I'll tell you that much.
Okay.
Just say something else. Right? Say something else, funny man.
All around the world you can hear them. Hey, hey, hey. Talking about using kind of funny stuff. Hey, hey, hey. Mag-room, mag-room, the mag-room, the mag-room.
You love computers.
Can we just keep going? Because I don't know how to fix things.
Mag-room Friday night. Cisco and Bill Gates. All right, how you doing, man? Even though I can't see your face.
No, I'm still messing with it. I'm doing fine, thanks. How are you?
Doing great. I feel fantastic.
Word.
It was weird. I was on here and it started recording, so you're gonna have some dead air at the beginning. And then I just started singing the song from Beverly Hills Cop 2. Should we talk about the t-shirts? You ready to pick a winner?
Yes.
So we have two things I wanted to talk about. One, we got a text from our friend Ross, who was very angry that I saved his PowerPoint as a Google Slides, which he said messed up all the text on his, and that's why it looked weird for the text. Not that he can't do it. So he was angry about that. We invited him on to explain it, but he said his kids were we're in a circus, 4th grade circus. I don't even know what that means.
Does that mean that the kids themselves were they're
putting on a circus?
Well, they're the performers, I would imagine.
Like, what does a 4th grade circus even do? Is there lions?
Or like, are the kids themselves the lions? Is that part of it? You know?
I see. So they're just acting on, and like,
one guy is the whippy trainer guy, and he's standing on a big bucket and has one of those cool hats on, and then like one kid waves his, with his
the people at the circus, I'm sure, don't make a ton of money, but there's a big drop off in quality, like by a real circus and an amateur circus. I think the drop off would be humongous. I
think I'd rather go to the amateur circus.
I'd rather watch if you said you could watch a real circus and like an amateur basketball game, or a real basketball game and an amateur circus. I'd pick the amateur basketball game and the real circus.
Whichever one involves the amateur circus, I think I'd be.
Really?
I don't know.
Seems like it would be terrible.
Yeah, but it might
imagine we put on a circus like me and you. What would the hell would we do?
But events like that make the news. You might be at
somebody might die. Someone would go to the hospital.
And wouldn't it be interesting to say, did you ever hear about that elephant that stomped that guy to death in Bridgeport? I saw an elephant.
Think they'd hire real animals?
I saw an elephant
amateur circus with real animal.
Animal?
Real one. They just and then people are like, did they leave off the S? Nope, they got one animal. Real animal. Now with real animal. We got to get the highlights of the 4th grade circus. So that was it. And then there was 3 votes.
Okay. Was one of them mine? Was my practice one that
it was not you? So 2 votes to 1. The hat won. Number 19 got 2 votes.
Nice.
And the t-shirt 5, which is like you as a Russian or a gas station attendant, and me as Toby.
Oh, I get to find out today who did that, right?
Yeah, you do. Yep. That one got 1 vote. So it seems like those were the fan favorites. So t-shirt number 19, the Mag-Room hat, wins.
With the glasses on it.
That was from your buddy, Golf Dad. T-shirt. So the other ones were the cream cheese one with the script was your dad.
Right.
I think you knew that. The Magroom, that was Emma.
I like that one.
And then the picture with the 2 heads, that was my dad. Yeah.
I didn't know you came from a family of artists, Jared.
I don't know if that's the case.
Is he classically taught how to draw?
How to draw two people who don't look anything like they actually do.
Does he hate your teeth? Does your dad ever say something like
I don't know, he could have gotten
brush
me
your teeth more?
He could have gotten me like braces or something. He didn't get that, so that's not very nice.
I love that picture.
So t-shirt 19, Golf Dad CT wins. So that's some art. I think you said you have some stuff about art, so it's a good segue into. I also have
I sent you.
Story
You have to read it. I sent you that article. I really don't want to read it.
Cross Human History. This was from IFL Science, and it says, across human history, there have been examples of people doing utterly terrible things for no other reason than the fact that they can. The Stanford prison experiment showed that given a little power, a person would easily begin to mistreat peers under their own free will. A public art piece by Marina Abramovich showed that simply giving a gun and instructions to do as they wish to random bystanders was to make them almost commit murder, which I don't really understand what that means. But
so I printed out something about that. This Marina Abramovich was in Naples in 1974. So the work involved Abramovich standing still while the audience was invited to do to her whatever they wished, using one of 72 objects she had placed on a table. These included a rose, feather, perfume, honey, and then it gets a little crazy. So it's like nails, a metal bar, a gun. Basically, you're walking into a room, there's a woman sitting there, and you can use these objects in any way you wish on a live human being. So that's the art piece. There were no separate stages. Abramovich and the visitors stood in the same space, making it clear that the latter were part of the work. The purpose of the piece, she said, was to find out how far the public would go, what is the public about, and what are they going to do in this kind of situation. It began tamely. Someone turned her around. Someone thrust her arms into the air. Someone touched her intimately.
Oh, wow.
And so the Neapolitan night began to heat up. In the third hour, all of her clothes were cut from her with razor blades.
Oh, wow.
In the fourth hour, the same blades began to explore her skin. Her throat was slashed so someone could suck her blood. Various minor sexual assaults were carried out on her body. She was so committed to the piece that she would not have resisted rape or murder. I mean, that's crazy. When a loaded gun was thrust to Marina's head and her own finger was being worked around the trigger, a fight broke out between the audience factions.
That's crazy. So that's what I wrote with this one. I was like, is art just you do whatever you want? So this was this one. Should I finish this one?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Debuting at the Trapholt Museum, Denmark, an art piece called Helena and El Pescador. I like the title of it.
It's awesome.
By the somewhat infamous Marco Evaristi.
Something like I'd say Evaristi.
Presented museum goers with 10 blenders filled with water and a single goldfish in each swimming around the blades. The visitors were given a simple choice: press the large on button and kill the fish for absolutely no reason, or don't touch the button and let the fish live. So while most people did not press the button, at least one visitor did and killed 2 goldfish in a blitz of horrific cruelty.
I can't believe only one person did it.
Well, so then then he got sued, or he said there was complaints. The police demanded he stop it. He didn't. They took him to court. He got acquitted because a vet said the fish would have died instantly and were not exposed to prolonged suffering.
Pain or suffering.
So that's really the only thing you can sue someone for. Like if you kill an animal immediately, you don't get sued.
Yeah.
How about the end? Did you read the last sentence though? The artist, I'm not saying his name right.
I think it's
returned
Evaristi.
Years later with another deeply troubling art piece in which he hosted a dinner party.
Oh, yeah.
Featuring meatballs made of his own fat.
Yeah. Would you eat it?
No.
Never?
I mean, I guess if I was exceptionally starving and there was no other choice, that would maybe happen, but...
I'd take a bite of a meatball made of human, I think.
Maybe somebody tells you it and you're just going to have a bite.
It would be interesting to taste what human flesh tastes like, don't you think?
No.
No?
Now you're going in a weird place right now.
I know, but I'm not. I'm being honest. I'm just don't you want to? No, you just said no, so I won't push this.
No, I have no interest in
knowing what human flesh. I don't have any interest in it. I'm curious as to,
That's what interest means.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't have any interest.
I would taste it and I'm curious.
Maybe.
That's interest.
I'm not saying I want to eat human flesh.
It was close.
I bet I can guess the name of the new episode.
Nice.
I'm not saying I want to eat human flesh. I'm just saying that presented with the opportunity,
you would do.
I'm not saying. I'm saying I don't want to. I'm not going to seek it out. But if somebody hosted a party and was like, "Hey,
hello, would you like some meatballs with human flesh in them?" Maybe at the amateur circus they have some hors d'oeuvres of.
I guarantee you. I think we could knock out 2 birds with 1 stone.
I just read it too, and I was like, so basically, if you do something crazy, then it's art. Like that lady almost died.
But she did that to herself.
I know,
but that
shouldn't get on TV.
That's
or
almost,
on a news article. Like and the guy with the art with the blenders and the goldfish, like I could have done that.
Yeah, but you
that's
didn't.
Not that great.
You didn't though.
I more respect the woman who had the crazy things done to her than this guy who just set up blenders to kill goldfish.
Yeah.
It's like, what do I set up? A guillotine and a puppy dog? And I'm like, hey, you're going to hit the button? Like, that's what I do. And then somebody hits the button and the head's off. And I'm like, hey, Jesus there's Christ. The art. Yeah. I like how that disgusts you, but not eating the human meatball. You're like, the guillotine with the dog. Oh, no. What about that dog? But, hey, serve me some human meatballs.
Maybe I do want to eat a human being. I just looked up. There was one in 1961 called Artist's Shit by Piero Manzoni. It consisted of 90 tin cans, each reportedly filled with 30 grams of Manzoni's feces. A tin was sold for 124,000 euros at Sotheby's on May 23rd, 2007.
Of his feces?
Uh-huh. One can of poop sold for 124,000. Oh. And then one other one was sold at Christie's for $182,000 in 2015. There was a piece called Shoot in 1971 by Chris Burden, in which a friend shot him in the arm with a .22 caliber gun from a distance of 3.5 meters.
This guy's just mentally imbalanced.
Which
That's
one?
The artist.
This isn't the same guy. I'm talking.
Oh, it's different guys?
Yeah.
Oh.
The one was Piero Manzoni, and the other one was Chris Burden.
I like how you said his name.
Piero Manzoni.
No, you're like, Piero Manzoni, Chris Burden.
And surely you've heard of Piss Christ by Andres Serrano. A lot of these guys are either like Spanish or Italian, it seems like.
Yeah, they got too much unemployment money.
A photograph of crucifix submerged in the artist's own urine. Oh, this one was it. How about this one?
I could do that. I don't understand. That's not art.
Is this art? Artist Rick Gibson made a pair of earrings with freeze-dried human fetuses and ate Isn't that the weirdest thing you've ever heard? Why would you?
You'd probably eat them.
No, why do you eat earrings?
They're freeze-dried human. You could put them in a meatball. Well, this is more art than what those guys are doing. We should sell an NFT of this episode for 124,000 euros. Sisk stories. This one was just, I don't really know what we're even, like, I almost want to read the whole article. I'll read a lot of it. This was near you, actually. At noon on Tuesday, May 10th, the pilot of a Cessna 208 flying to Florida from Bahamas told his 2 passengers he wasn't feeling well. He fell against the controls, putting the aircraft into a nosedive and sharp turn. The passengers had no flying experience. So then what do you think would happen? I mean, did you hear this story?
Yeah, I did.
What would you do?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I think I wouldn't even think to ask to try to get. I think I would just be like, I've really had a great life, and this is
maybe that point.
Interesting end to it.
You try to eat the other passenger just to get that taste the human flesh before you crash. Just one little.
The plane hasn't even crashed yet. Why are you?
One little try. You're like, you know what? I've always wanted to try this. And we're not going to make it, so. All right, well, this is what happened. At that point, one of the passengers jumped into action, pulled the aircraft out of the nosedive, and called Fort Pierce Tower at Treasure Coast International Airport.
How did he even know the number?
I don't know, to let them know the pilot was incapacitated and that he had no flying experience. I've got a serious situation here. The pilot is incoherent, and I have no idea how to fly the airplane. Controller Christopher Chip Flores received the radio call and asked the passenger the location of the plane. Well, there's a lot of people that come in here now. It's like, I feel like they can make a movie out. Passenger did not know where the aircraft was, obviously. Oh, yeah, we're in the clouds. With assistance from our operational supervisor, Justin Boyle, Flores calmly instructed, Boyle told him to say that. Flores, you better tell him I was there too. Flores calmly instructed the man to fly straight ahead and to start a gradual descent, allowing time for aircraft traffic control to locate the aircraft.
Is this the coolest motherfucker in the world?
Why are they telling him to descend already, though? Can't they find it while they're just flying straight still? They're like, yeah, why don't you just descend a little bit? Joshua Somers, operations supervisor, rushed to provide help in tracking it. So, but then they were both telling Flores, Boyle and Somers were like, we better get some credit here. Flores advised the passenger to change his radio frequency to Palm Beach air traffic control, but the passenger did not know how to change frequencies. So basic emergency radios were used to talk to the passenger. Flores reassured the passenger that a controller at the Palm Beach air traffic facility would help him. That guy did a lot of legwork to get him headed the right way. I'm sure the other people in the tower were helping too. Robert Morgan on Chip Flores and Justin Boyle. They got them the credit.
That Chip got laid 70 times since this happened.
The lead air traffic controller, Gregory Batani, quickly called that controller Robert Morgan. It seems like it could just be Flores to Morgan. You don't need all the guys in between that sort of told the guy what to do. So Morgan's a flight instructor. So he gave clear, short directions on how to fly the plane and confirmed that the passenger understood each instruction. The passenger initially wanted to land at Boca Raton he's making a decision. Morgan, it'd really be our cars at Boca Raton. It would really be the best if we did that. Morgan talked him out of it. He told him to go to the one that was less congested.
My aunt lives in Boca. We can go see her.
Why can't I just go to Boca, Morgan? Morgan walked the passenger through turns, selecting flap settings needed to create enough lift at slower speeds and trim to alleviate pressure from the control surfaces during flap extension, and explaining how to land. He guided the passenger through a long, stable final approach. He described what the runway was going to look like. Well, everybody knows that, I think. Once the aircraft was over the runway, Morgan explained to the passenger how to keep the nose barely off the ground until the main gear touchdown. The passenger did not know how to stop the plane, so the controller instructed the pilot how to brake and adjust levers. So he basically told him everything.
So
basically this Morgan guy should teach algebra, because I tell the kids how to do one step in algebra. This guy walked him through on a radio.
Does it make you think that maybe it's not so I actually live near an airport and I have a lot of people that come in here that are pilots and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, I know you have to do your however many 1,000 hours or whatever, but it makes me think that it's not that hard to be a pilot,
That's exactly what I wrote. I was like, maybe it's not that hard to fly.
I've always thought imagine all those controls all around you and stuff. And
maybe Morgan was like, we got to make this seem harder than it is. Yeah. Really, if he just hits that one button, it lands the plane. So, yeah, that one was crazy. I don't know what I would do either.
I guess you'd like to think you'd be the guy that jumps into action, but I think I might just think that, well, this is fate,
Yeah, and then you'd start eating people. All right, so here's the intro. This is from, some weird website, studyfinds.org. Most American workers are keeping something a secret from their employer and coworkers, their real personality. Absolutely. A new survey finds 64% are fearful of being authentic around others in the workplace. 7 in 10 say they adopt an entirely different personality when they're at work compared to their normal persona at home. 3 in 4 people say their current employer claims to value individuality. They're not comfortable being themselves. So what do you think some of the common things people hide are?
Criminal records.
Nice. I think they could find that. Hey, everybody, I got a criminal record.
Guess what Stan did last weekend?
Nice.
Your family.
Personal information about their family was number 2.
Number 1, how much money you had in the Giants game last night.
Nice. Number 1 was political views. Then they had current relationship status, mental health issues, and their religious beliefs, sexual orientation, 24% even hide a disability. I don't know how they do that. You just decide to walk at work, because it said they don't. So most people said they don't want to make people uncomfortable.
So most people have really scary political views that they have to hide from everybody.
Yes, that would be amazing. So you're like, people hide stuff at the workplace. So this next story shows something that people hid. This woman, Vicky White, who was 56.
I know this story.
So let me read the thing. The manhunt began. So they were searching in April 29th, when Vicky White, the assistant director of corrections for the jail in Lauderdale County, allegedly helped engineer the escape of Casey White, and they're not related, who was waiting trial in a capital murder case. Vicky White had told coworkers she was taking the inmate from jail for a mental health evaluation at the courthouse, but the two instead fled the area. The car they took off was later found abandoned in Tennessee. There was no trace until U.S. Marshals received a tip Sunday that surveillance photos from an Evansville car wash showed a man who closely resembled Casey White exiting 2006 pickup truck. White stands 6 feet 9 inches tall and weighs 260 pounds. He was on a 75-year prison sentence for attempted murder and other charges. He was awaiting trial in the stabbing of a 58-year-old woman. If convicted, he could face the death penalty. And then, So then they said before death was announced. So Vicky White eventually died. I'll say some more.
Was she hiding her political views at work?
She said that this is what her boss said. I had every bit of trust in Vicky White. She had been an exemplary employee. What in the world provoked her, prompted her to pull out a stunt like this? I don't know if we'll ever know.
She shot herself, right?
So, but it was her last. So it was her last. So this is how you don't question. It was her last day at work. She told coworkers that Casey White had a mental health evaluation, but none was scheduled. She did not have a second officer accompany them, which was against jail policy. So everybody was just kind of like, hey, yeah, Vicky, your last day. Go have some fun with the 6'9" crazy guy.
I didn't know that about the story. That was supposed to be her last day at work?
Yeah. So I think this could be a movie with you and Susanna Hoff again.
Oh, stop it. I don't want to be in.
You're the guy. Casey
I'm
White.
the 6 foot and the hulking.
Yeah.
I'm the hulking attempted murderer.
They used 3 different vehicles. This was another article with some other details.
All right.
They stayed at a Motel 41 for a week.
What kind of vehicles do I get to use?
And planned to stay another week.
Cool muscle car?
Sure. The pair secured a room May 2nd by paying a transient man to check in for them. The employee said.
I know there's a bunch of guys in Jupiter I'd call transient men. I can hook
this up. So then the last car they were in was a Cadillac. The U.S. Marshal Service said when Casey White got out of the Cadillac, he exclaimed, "Please help my wife. She just shot herself in the head and I didn't do it." They found a cache of weapons. They had 4 handguns, several semi-automatic weapons. Officials also discovered about $29,000 in the car. So I think you and Susanna Hall. You got a bunch of wigs and cars, and you're switching, and you're on the run.
Tell me about I like a movie with a good soundtrack. What kind of movie?
Well, I told you I was singing the. Can we get Seger, Bob Seger?
Oh yeah, what was the song you were doing?
Shakedown, breakdown, everybody do it together round. Shakedown, you busted.
You busted.
Yeah, that could be in it. Gonna play the Marshall.
6'9". I can do whatever I want.
That follows you. Is that Tommy Lee Jones? We get him back.
No, we have to get one of our friends or listeners involved, right?
Who would be a good U.S. Marshal? Can I play the U.S. Marshal?
Well, now that I know your dad's such an artist.
Nice. How are they gonna root for you? You're kind of a bad dude.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
Like you've murdered. Does it have to be like we find out it was like a wrong? You were wrong.
Yeah.
Like it goes all the way to the top. There's some senator who made you the fall guy. You tried to. Busted open. Some opioid was addictive and you tried to bust it open. Instead they framed you for murder.
Jesus, you're good at this, man.
And then Vicky White found out and she's like, I'm gonna break you out. You did have a little bit of it said the guy was prepared to die in a shootout, but then it seemed like when his wife shot herself, he was like, she didn't die right away. He wanted her to, she needed help, he said. So he gave up.
He really loved her.
Yeah.
I think that's a touching story.
Even though he's like murdered people and
murderers can love, Jared.
They can. Yeah. Is it too late? That would be the tagline. Was it too late for love? What's the sequel going to be?
We mean once I go back to jail and then I break. So yeah, I want to break out again.
Sure.
So maybe you come break me out.
The U.S. Marshal?
No, that's your dad, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
You.
Just
Jared.
me, Jared Sisk. He gets written in the story.
I'm hoping by the time the sequel comes out that this podcast has hit it big.
I see.
And you'll be a little well known, and that'll be your first big role.
They're like podcast artist breaks 6'9" guy out of jail, and we make it as an art thing. We could tie it back to the art thing. It's like an art. It's like what's that movie with Christian Slater where he does the pirate
Pump Up the
radio
Volume?
thing? Yeah, that's like it is. We're driving around the country. I'm doing podcast episodes while we're breaking you out of jail. You become my like sidekick, even though you're like a murderer. How downloaded would that be as a podcast? Me and a murderer going around the country
on the lam,
hiding from people, and we upload episodes of a podcast.
I think
That'd be wicked downloaded.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess you got to murder someone if you're going to get anywhere. What was your email about taking care of cats?
Oh, I don't know. Just wanted to start. I think I want to volunteer somewhere. I think I want
Why are you using the mag room email? Don't you have your own email?
I thought if something interesting came out of it, you might want to talk about it.
Because I was like, is this a joke? And then it like
no. I'm actually going.
Like, that you're gonna like take care of cats.
I'm going tomorrow to an animal shelter to interview for a volunteering job. I don't know. I just want to do something.
This could be a really good story out of it. Could come out of it.
I don't know. It's something that I've been thinking about doing for a few. I wanted to volunteer. There's a wildlife sanctuary here, but it is a pain in the ass. Or I don't know. It just seemed like there was a lot of like things to fill out, and I wanted to just go like have a little interview and then start coming and walking dogs or something like that, or feeding tigers.
That's quite a leap, though. Walking dogs and feeding tigers.
Not in the wild.
You think you're just like throwing them meat or something? Or
maybe. I don't know. I've been to those gator places around here. That's what they do. Just a couple dudes with chickens come and just throw a chicken out in the water and the gators eat it.
Wow. And you think they just have volunteers?
Well, I don't know. Sometimes
you gotta sign some release?
Well, I haven't been there yet. And I'm going to one that helps little
maybe
baby.
Maybe you could do some art and you could throw yourself in there and see what happens.
And see and let the gators do whatever they will to me with
the
72 objects on the table.
See if they'll eat some meatballs with your human flesh in it. All right. Well, produced by you, MJ Einloff.
Mm-hmm.
Theme song by Maggie Ellox. Email Muga and Cisco at gmail.com.
Written by Harris Sisk.
Harris, there you go.
That's my when I text you.
Autocorrect.
It always tries to autocorrect your name to Harris.
Yeah,
which I think you'd make a cool Harris.
No, Harris is not a cool name.
Yes,
it is. You know what Brennan loves to F with me and say? Loves to call me Jerry because he knows I hate it.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're Jerry, and I'm like, why do you mess with me? Because you don't like it because I'll mess with you.
Does he have a name that he doesn't like? Brenda.
I'll do Brenny. We didn't get a ton of emails this week. Your mom did email. I didn't read that, but she said she was 70,000
years old
and short and had short hair, but she doesn't like romance novels. So,
yeah.
But other people should email us. And congrats to the winner, Golf Dad.
Oh, yeah.
His T-shirt.
Aaron. His name's Aaron. If anybody cares.
Yeah, it's great. I can't wait to see the T-shirts. Maybe I'll get one.
Yeah. I guess I gotta get moving on that.
Yeah, I'm expecting at least a couple months.
Yeah, I bet I can make it happen in
1 month.
1 month. Okay.
All right. Well, stick with the mag room and everything else, and maybe you'll get a T-shirt.
Ooh, ooh, I like my groom. I like my groom. Ooh, ooh, my groom is good. My groom is good. Ooh, ooh, I like my groom. I like my groom. Ooh, ooh, my groom is good. My groom is good. The my groom's good. Ooh, ooh, I like my groom. I like my groom. Ooh, ooh, my groom is good. My groom is good.
This has been riveting.